Yo, what is going on, everybody? It's Jack, and welcome back to another video. And shout out to the man or woman that made second place in this gameplay that you're seeing here, because before this game right here, I was absolutely getting manhandled by this person, and a very good player and legit as well, and mouse and keyboard player when I went back into theater and looked at the and as well as looking at the kill cam. So shout out to them. They were absolutely beating my ass in free for all, and then I just decided to put on the Milano, and I'm gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna give it my all and let the chips fall where they may, and whatever was left of the old Jack, the one that was able to go ham in beast mode, was evident in this gameplay. So I hope you guys enjoy that. And then the second game is going to be a different game on the same map. So I apologize for the map being a little repetitive, but it's raid at least. So this commentary kind of goes with what I wanted to say in this video. And speaking of shout outs, by the way, one more thing, shout out to you guys in the comment section that have like some of the nicest things to say in the comment section. It really kind of gives me motivation and inspiration to just keep going, even though this is something I do for fun, and even though this is gaming and commentating, to some people it just means more than others, and at the same time it just it makes me feel good, and it makes me want to keep going. So thank you very much for that. So, and guys, I am in a couple months, 2.5 months or so from now, I will be 37 years old. And actually, I started gaming for some time before I turned 37, which actually means that I have been gaming for 30 years of my life. Gaming ever since I started. I never really stopped, to be honest. And in terms of what this commentary I want to talk about, I don't want to just talk about my history in gaming, and maybe some of you guys may have some things in common with me in this aspect, but I also wanted to kind of include you guys in this. Another way is I'm actually curious in terms of what your opinion is in terms of when is your prime in terms of competitive gaming. How long are you in your prime? Like, we know in terms of athletics, depending on the sport that you play, it may vary, or maybe even with gaming as well, it may vary depending on the game. Like with Call of Duty, it's a lot faster paced than a game like, let's say, Halo, to where your reflexes and muscle memory and hand-eye coordination matter more than anything else. And then some other games, it's more of a decision factor and decision-making factor, as well as your consistency of skill. So in my mind, I keep on thinking that a player that, for instance, plays Halo, like let's say a professional Halo player, will actually be able to compete in their quote-unquote prime longer than a Call of Duty player? Or do you guys think it really just depends on the player and how gifted they are? Now, obviously, we know that the longer you do something, the harder it is for it to go away. Old habits die hard, I guess. Some things just really don't go away very easily, especially if you've been doing them forever. And certain aspects actually never go away. Like, for instance, I remember watching an interview with members of the Charlotte Bobcats before they turned back into the Charlotte Hornets, before Michael Jordan, since he owns the team now, turned them back into the Charlotte Hornets more recently. But back in the day, they were called the Bobcats, and there were a few times where he showed up to a few practices. Now, one of them was when he was in his early 40s, and the other one was in his mid 50s. But he played in both of them, but in the one where he was in his mid 50s, he actually, it was just said, they just interviewed other players, but there was no footage captured of Michael playing with the team and just scrimmaging or playing one-on-one or anything like that. Apparently they had a scrimmage, and the players said, they interviewed the player and the coach, and the player basically said, one of the players said, well, the speed and the quickness isn't there in his mid 50s, but the jump shot is the last thing to go, and he certainly has that. So at age 55, when Michael Jordan isn't playing ball that much anymore, and if he still has his jump shot, that just goes to tell you something. And then obviously, at age 55, your speed and quickness naturally decreases, as especially when you stop playing completely. And again, there's just so many varying factors when it comes to games, and it's all muscle memory, and there's all sorts of different factors. But the subject in and of itself is actually just, when you put it all together, it's actually a very interesting subject. So what do you guys think? Do you guys think with the game, do you think that there is no prime? Or do you guys think that there is obviously a limit? Like, granted, like for instance, off and on I watch the competitive Call of Duty players. I've also watched the competitive Halo players. I'm a first person shooter junkie, so when it comes to competitive gaming, I will watch those guys, and I'll even watch some PC gaming. Like I even went back and watched Shroud when he was playing in CS:GO, for instance, and stuff like that. And I'm absolutely amazed. You know what I mean? Just like I'm a fan of gaming as well as a gamer myself, and to a certain degree, I actually enjoy the competitiveness of, like there's still a part of me that wants free-for-all to be competitive in Call of Duty. I mean, if it was competitive in Halo, it could be competitive in COD as well. I don't see why not, but it is what it is. Opinions vary on that. I know that there are different ways to how it may or may not fit, but maybe you guys can let me know your opinions on that as well. Do you agree with me in terms of free-for-all being competitive in COD, or do you disagree? But in terms of, and the funny thing is with me, like I've been very fortunate enough to play. I've basically, I've had I've been blessed, no matter what life has thrown at me through the thick and thin, I've been blessed to have the majority of consoles that ever came out when it comes to that. So I have played so many different games and genres of games on multiple consoles growing up, and the memories that I have, I really wouldn't trade for anything. Sleepovers until we beat the game or until we didn't beat the game, playing countless hours on end, and just spending time with the friends inside. And then, it just such a blast. Everything from the Atari back before the Nintendo came into my life, which actually I got introduced to by my parents. I guess some neighbors or friends of theirs said, hey, maybe you should get this for your kid. He might like it. And next thing you know, they were still renting Nintendos back in the day in the early 90s, and basically kind of like a tryout. And if you like it, you could just buy it full price. And that's what they told me. My mom walks into my room with a big box, and she says, hey, our friends told us about this and we're renting it, and let us know if you like it, and we'll buy it for you. And I was like, okay. And the next thing you know, after Pac-Man and Galaga with the Atari, Super Mario Brothers was the first Nintendo game I ever experienced, and then it just went on from there. And then once I realized that, when my friend got a new console, which I didn't know about, I wanted that console, and with the games and such, and I became introduced to different consoles, different games, Sonic the Hedgehog, the Sega Genesis, you name it, Donkey Kong Country, Super NES, you name it. It became a part of my life. And then ever since then, it has been part of my life ever since for the last 30 years. And it's also one of the most important aspects of my life, especially now as an adult. I use it to recharge my batteries. Whether I want to save or spend money, I can still game one way or another. Or whenever I just want some peace and quiet and just to kind of get away from everything, I use gaming as an aspect of doing that. Now, I'm not completely antisocial or anything like that. As a matter of fact, I'm not antisocial at all. I actually have very good people skills. I also used to teach martial arts, for those of you guys that don't know that, for over 7 years, and spent 10 years of my life as a career. Unfortunately, it didn't lead me anywhere, because there's not really much money into it, and other factors that I really don't want to get into in this video. But all in all, but it was an experience in and of itself, lots of lessons learned and lots of skills gained and all that kind of stuff. But ultimately, at the end of the day, when I work a lot, I've always been working a lot. So I really like having that option just to get away and just spend time gaming or whatnot, or socializing with my friends here and there. Back in the day, it was all, you either talk briefly over the phone and then meet up for sleepovers. Nowadays, we got things like Discord, we got content creation like YouTube, we got cell phones that are more powerful than Xbox 360s now, and all that kind of stuff, and different ways to chat and everything. Back in the day, we used to get together in the arcades and have a blast, and nowadays it's just over Xbox Live or PSN, Steam, you name it. It's a different time, man. The times have definitely changed. The essence is still there, but at the same time, you got to be able to change with the times. And overall, I just got to say that it's been a blast. These last 30 years have been a blast. And I think what's going to come up in the future relatively soon is that we're going to be seeing gamers that are like incredible, and maybe even professional gamers or content creators that are going to be really high up there in age. And in terms of not only that, in terms of what they could do, I think the skill gap, not the skill gap, but in terms of how long you can stay in your prime and how long you can remain relevant and competitive in gaming, I think that number is only going to go up. And I think we're really in an interesting point in gaming and in history in this time, in terms of how things will end up, and all that kind of stuff. So I just wanted to kind of share it with you a little bit of my history, a little bit of a question in terms of how long you can be in your prime, what you're capable of, and all that kind of stuff. And I just kind of wanted to share it with you. So anyway, that's all I got for this one, guys. Here's to 30 more years of gaming. Thank you very much for listening, guys. I'm running out of time in this gameplay here, but it's been an absolute blast. And thank you for the kind words for those of you guys that have nice things to say in the comment section. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. See ya.